This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another episode of the Voice of the Land podcast. We are partnered with Web Streaming Studio by LPV and NEO Sports Network. And, of course, we welcome all listeners every Saturday at 4 p.m. on CuyahogaValleyRadio.com. You can always find our podcast on Google, Spotify, and Apple, as well as following us and subscribing to our YouTube channel at Voice of the Land Podcast. Find us on all social media sites, for the most part, Facebook, Voice of the Land, and Twitter and Instagram at VTL_pod, at VTL_POD. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. Alongside me, as always, my brother, Nick Paulus, at CLE_Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire. Wow. Those words can trip you up sometimes. Words are hard, but oh so fun, as we used to say at the Ohio Media School when we used to be there. But our producer extraordinaire behind the proverbial glass is Peter Tellep. And we are here to talk, well, typically we are here to talk sports. But we know what kind of culture, what kind of world we're living in right now, and sports are not really existent. There are a few, and we're going to get into the impact that the sports world is feeling right now. But, of course, the main conversation has been, and this is going to be kind of a open mic kind of session. It's going to be a little different here at the Voice of the Land today. This is going to be a conversation about what everybody else is talking about. And you can't go anywhere without talking about the coronavirus and the spread across the world, and specifically here in the United States, which has forced precautionary measures to try to prevent the spread as much as possible by canceling a lot of sporting events. Specifically, coming up, we were looking forward to filling out brackets. Selection Sunday was supposed to be tomorrow. And all these conference tournaments were going to be wrapping up. March Madness is canceled. All the conference tournaments got canceled. NBA season postponed. MLB season postponed. NHL. XFL is just completely gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the only
they are committed for next year.
Right.
They are. Yeah.
Yes, they are. And, you know, it's kind of tough to see another spring football league kind of get their season cut short, but for different reasons this year. And it does seem like they had some success this year. I don't know how much you guys got to watch of the XFL, but I mean, we can start there is, you know, just briefly there. I mean,
sure. I mean, viewership was declining. Let's be honest, viewership was declining, you know, over the last couple of weeks, but they still had a lot more people tuning in than, you know, what the AF had, you know, last year, which is something to, you know, hold your head up high about, you know, if you're Vince McMahon and the rest of that league. It's one of those things, though, where it was a niche sort of thing, which is what you and I talked about a couple weeks back, 5-6 weeks ago, whenever they were just initially starting. But there is something there. They had a lot of great ideas, you know, with the sky cameras and in the judges, you know, from the booth. They had a lot of really good ideas that I think that the NFL should implement, and I think that they eventually will.
Yeah.
But a lot of things to work on as well. I mean, obviously player development is something that is a necessary step for them. And maybe one of these leagues is going to have to step up and pay one of the big prospects coming out. That's how you get noticed. That's how, you know, the USFL, whenever, you know, back in its heyday, back in the 80s, you know, they got like Steve Young and, you know, I believe Herschel Walker was there as well. That's how you get those sort of things started. And I think that you're not going to get Joe Burrow. You're not going to get that guy. But if you get like a Jordan Love sort of player, like a first-round pick, and make him your star of the league, that would be like where the XFL should start.
Right, and having an opportunity to have a full season under their belt and kind of showing what they could do.
100%. Yeah.
And also the ideas as the season went on and got towards the end, like what were they planning for the next year? Because it seemed like that league that they were always thinking ahead. They were forward thinking in terms of, you know, one of the big things that people can see right from the start of those games was the kickoff. You know, guys that are just 5 yards apart, not allowed to
I-
kind of block one another until.
And I thought that was going to be such a stupid thing, but it turned out to be awesome and a very smart idea.
Right. And they had a lot of smart ideas, and I'm sure that there would have been, as the season got towards the end, I'm sure that they would have had probably ideas for the next year already.
Sure.
They put the first time the XFL was around, they try to tout it as WWE.
Right.
And
you and I thought that as cool as it sounded, it was a dumb move.
Right.
Especially those kickoffs that he hate me.
Yeah.
Although I do love that.
Right.
That is still pretty awesome.
Right. So you had stuff like that, but this time they put 2 years of planning into this before they went in. So you knew that there was going to be planning. But now, of course, the era that we're in, canceled, only have a certain amount of time that you're able to use some of these stadiums that you're using. It's not like specific stadiums just for them, so they can't just use them whenever they want. So they did have to cancel that. Now, you still do have WWE events going on. I actually watched SmackDown last night because I am a WWE fan, and they're down at the Performance Center in Florida.
Wasn't that no crowd? No. How weird was that?
It was weird. It was crazy. Like Triple H was basically, they used him as the comic relief just to kind of add something to it, but they had to take a portion of the show and play one of the matches from their last pay-per-view event just to kind of fill time, and that's a 2-hour show.
Sure.
They're taking Raw, which is their flagship show, they're taking it down there, and they're going to do that on Monday. The same thing on Monday.
Same thing. Wow.
Right, and promos were basically Michael Cole in the ring interviewing somebody, and then getting the question started, and then allowing them to continue talking. I mean, John Cena comes out at the end, and he's supposed to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. WrestleMania hasn't even been canceled yet. Yeah. And Florida is one of those states in a state. I mean, we're in a national emergency at this point. Yeah. So it's nationwide, but they were one of the states.
It's been announced a pandemic.
Yeah. And they were one of the states, though, to go into a state of emergency from the beginning of this initial spread of this virus across the country, and they're still holding out hope for the beginning of April to do this. I mean, you could push it back to the summer months. I saw stuff where they have.
But then you're running into the issue of, is that going to get in the way of something else?
Right, and I saw that they don't have a pay-per-view. WWE doesn't have a pay-per-view scheduled in June. And, you can kind of connect that with other stuff that you have going on at that time. There are ways to, because they keep going. And it was just weird to watch that. UFC is supposed to still have their fight. Dana White thinks that he can still have that going on. But the big things aren't there. So it's kind of weird to see some of the smaller, more niche type things. I mean, yes, WWE and UFC do have big followings, but it's not as available to everybody as... WWE being more available than UFC because they have weekly episodic type shows.
Right.
But, I mean, there's no March Madness. There's no brackets. These decisions that have been made, where were you? Because this has been a weird week, and I kind of want to get this conversation right here. Your guys' reaction to all the sports being canceled, kind of how it's affecting you, and how is this just scenario, this situation, affecting you in general?
I mean, it's affecting me at my job, very much, because we were supposed to be doing March Madness for the entire NCAA tournament. We were going to be presenting that on Westwood One, just getting that all the programming out there. We've had to switch up everything at ESPN Cleveland. I'm now working 1 hour over the next 2 weeks. It's for the Chris Holtman show on Monday, and that's it. Thank God I have a second job, and I can lean, lean heavily on that. But for people, and I'm not going to call people out, but I was talking to a couple of people at work, and they don't have anything scheduled over the next 2 weeks, and they were banking on getting some of those hours.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen anymore. I do believe that the NCAA did do the right thing, though.
Right.
And once again, and I know we've done a round of applause before,
right.
But for Cleveland fans before, but that one's for Mark Emmert. I usually crush the NCAA. Now, it did take them a little bit of time for them to finally come around and go, okay, we probably shouldn't do this. but they did it before any of their players caught the virus because
Right.
obviously the NBA, they didn't think that it was that big of a deal or anything like that. Then Rudy Gobert, who karma hit you square in the face, dude, and I'm so happy that it did. I don't wish this virus upon anybody. Obviously,
No.
I don't want anyone to get it. I don't want anyone to catch it,
No.
anyone to die from it, obviously. But if you are going to go around and, touch microphones and do all the things that he was doing, just blatantly, and then apparently he was going up to like Donovan Mitchell and in the locker room just touching his face and messing with people left
who
and
else
right.
got it?
And who else got it? Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the reason why the NCAA completely could have put a kibosh on the NCAA tournament, because that news broke, I believe it was like an hour or 2 hours before the NCAA was like, you know what? Sorry, we can't do this. We can't do this. Rudy Gobert, though, I mean, once again, I don't wish badness upon anybody, but if karma is going to hit someone in the face, deservingly so for you, Rudy. Donovan Mitchell, I feel bad for that guy. Just sucks that you had to be his teammate. But once again, NBA got shut down. I thought that was the right decision, not to shut down the NBA, the entire season,
Right.
but they are suspending it, league action
At
until
least 30 days.
At least 30 days. NCAA, once again, good move by you guys. It sucks for me, and sucks for us as sports fans, because March is such a great month of basketball that we love to watch. And you were talking about the filling out the brackets on Sunday night. I mean, I was expecting to come in, earlier this week. I was like, man, I can't wait. NCAA bracket's going to be here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see. I was supposed to I was supposed to do color for one of the MAC games. It was supposed to be last night. I was hoping to come in and talk to you about that and
what your experience was
relive
like.
some of my moments. Maybe bring in like a boom shakalaka call or something like that. It would have been really cool. But it's unfortunate that everything has come down this way, and now that the Masters has been postponed as well, which is, I don't watch a lot of golf,
right?
But like the Masters
that's where my golf watching kind of starts.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
The Masters, it could be rain, shine, doesn't matter. It is a gorgeous sight to watch, and it's probably my favorite golfing event ever.
Right.
So. It hurts that got postponed and not fully done with for this year, but hopefully that they can get that rescheduled. But for me personally, like it was all at work is whenever I caught all of this sort of stuff. How about you? Like, where were you whenever all of this went down? What are you most sad about losing? Because for me, it's college basketball. This month I pay so much attention to that. Like St. Patrick's Day, I'll go to the bar and just sit there for 10 hours and just watch basketball game, have my green beers. And I'm going to miss out on that. And that makes me sad.
Yeah. I was at work when I started finding out all this stuff, and it was kind of more hearing people around because, I'm not always able to kind of be on my phone. And
sure, I
had shut off some notification systems on my phone as well. For some other stuff that I was watching. I mean, as a WWE fan, I don't like spoilers when it comes to pay-per-view, so I wasn't able to watch it right away, the last one, so I had shut off all those notifications. And I'm lazy, where I don't, once I shut them off and it's time to put them back on, it takes me a while before I put them back on. Not because I don't need the notifications, but because I just don't remember to put them. I don't remember that I turned them off until big news starts to drop. I'm like, why didn't that pop up on my phone?
Right.
Oh, that's right.
That's the reason.
I turned them off. So, yeah, I mean, March Madness is very tough to lose because I am huge on filling out brackets and really diving into the matchups and getting into that. I understand, and this is well warranted to do all that. I think one of the issues, though, with just canceling completely is all the seniors that have – and some of the mid-major schools, or even some of these, you look at a school like Oregon, their women's basketball program has been on fire all season long, and that's led by their point guard, who is one of the best basketball players around right now, Sabrina Ionescu. and has that basketball IQ, can do anything out on the floor.
It was Kobe's girl.
Yeah, and you just enjoy watching that kind of basketball be played, and worked her tail off with her teammates to have an opportunity at a national championship, and now that's gone. I know that they've given seniors for the spring programs an extra year of eligibility, which is good.
Well, I don't know if that's been given as of yet. They're talking about it. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen conflicting reports, and there's conflicting reports about everything going on. So it's hard. It's hard to follow exactly where we're at and what to believe, what not to believe right now. That's also very difficult to keep track of at this point.
Right.
But the fact that they canceled instead of, I would have been really okay with, let's postpone this for at least 3 weeks and then reevaluate.
Yeah.
And then if at that point we're still not even we're not trending the right direction, because we know it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Sure.
Over the next week or so. Maybe over the next couple weeks. But in 3 weeks, have we started to have these measures helped turn a corner quicker than some of these other countries that didn't put enough emphasis on it right away? You look at China, you look at Italy.
Italy is the big one.
Italy is the biggest one, where they're all on lockdown. And I'm seeing videos of families out on their balconies singing and just trying to get human interaction while in isolation. And it's a beautiful sight, but it's an unfortunate beautiful sight to see from a beautiful country like Italy that is so impacted by this virus. And so you would think that for all these, it's a tough balance, of course. Health and safety is number one. And then the underlying issues of, these sports being canceled for amateur athletics, where this is some of the seniors' last opportunity to play because they're not going to go to some sort of professional level.
Yeah, 99.7% of these guys aren't going to be going pro.
Right. So all of these guys, all of these girls that are going to, kind of like their last opportunity to play, and they may not get that chance again, I think it would have been smarter, and I don't know if there's something they can go back on with that. And, of course, there's arena rental and being able to use these spaces for that, because as you get later in the year, these places aren't as available as they are right now when it's that sort of season. However, trying to work through those logistics, there would be conversations to be had. And if it just wasn't possible, after you've reevaluated, then full on cancel, get rid of it. So you feel bad for those athletes, but more importantly, you feel bad for people that are impacted by this.
Sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And Peter, I kind of want your thoughts on this as well, kind of just where you were at when basically the sports world stopped, and we rely on sports to kind of distract us from all of these kind of things that happen. But when it impacts the sports world, even that really shows how impactful it is. And all we have is to talk about this right now.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Me personally, I'm not that greatly impacted by it. I kind of look out there. I mean, I'm supposed to be live streaming track meet for high school in the spring in a couple weeks, and not sure if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
most likely not. And that's unfortunate, because we were using that really as a test bed for any of the sports to work with the CVC to try and promote doing more live streaming of the sports for high schools, especially in the CVC conference. So, not sure what's going to happen from there. Hopefully things clear up. And I was really surprised when they started canceling, suspending the different leagues, basketball. I mean, I'm kind of following it. There's just so much information coming out. And as you said, Kevin, you don't know what to believe. You hear a lot of different, contradicting stories coming out. So, hopefully,
what can you believe? What can't you believe?
Yeah, hopefully, what's happening is just an overabundance of caution. I'm hoping that what the leaders are doing is actually the right thing. I think we're fortunate in this area because we have the Cleveland Clinic, we have UH, we have Metro, we have some world-renowned medical centers, the Case Medical School. Hopefully that's really good for us. We'll see what happens.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, the Cleveland Clinic has generated that test that can get you results within hours rather than days.
Right. My wife is actually going to be a part of that. Actually,
Really?
this coming up Thursday, she's going to be. She works down at the Cleveland Clinic down in Stowe.
Yeah.
Down there on Graham Road, and she's actually going to be going up to the Cleveland campus and doing the swab test. It's a drive-through service sort of thing. She's going to be wearing like a hazmat suit and everything. She says it's not a hazmat suit. I'm going to call it a hazmat suit. I really
mean,
want to
it's
see
gonna-
the pictures of it
Yeah.
too. So, I was telling her to take pictures and go from there. But she's going to be swabbing people from like 11 to 7 on on that day. She's going to get paid big too. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But hazard pay. But it is something that it's scary because we're younger adults
Right.
but I mean Rudy Gobert caught it. I mean,
Yeah.
guys, I think he's younger than I know he's younger than me. And I mean he's a healthy individual and plays in the NBA. I mean, and he caught it. So I mean that means like literally anybody could catch this.
Right, just like anybody can catch the flu
Sure. Right.
But there's other measures that have been put in place because there's more research and
Right.
the flu has been around where when there's another outbreak of the flu or bigger outbreaks each year of the flu, it's a different strain of it. And when we talked about this before we came on air, there have been elements of coronavirus before, and you see it written on some of these disinfectant materials. I know
Right.
that Peter had bought some stuff at Menards coming in and disinfected the studio just to be on the safe side. We have our we do have our trusty little Germex hand sanitizer here for us.
We're taking sponsorships, so
I mean, we're anything we can right now, but I mean, in all honesty, you have to do these things, and you should be doing it anyways. You should be
100%. Yeah, I
when
mean, you
people
go to the bathroom, wash your hands.
Yes.
I mean, it's common sense 101, people.
Right. And I'll admit, like, I was always one of those kids that, I washed my hands, but I
Right.
washed my hands,
Sure. Yeah.
like, get a little soap on
Of
there,
course,
like,
yeah.
quick rinse. It's the 20 seconds. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's different people giving advice on the songs you can sing while you're doing that. And
What's the most common one that you've heard so far?
was it Gloria Gaynor that said something about, like, one of her songs?
Well, I know there's Staying Alive,
Staying Alive.
Staying Alive, Happy Birthday.
And then the ABCs I just heard last night.
My favorite is Don't Give a Damn About the Whole State of Michigan.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
that's
that
right.
one
works.
I did hear
So-
that.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have it up at ESPN. We have there's a sticker on the mirror now,
Yeah.
and it says "Sing Happy Birthday" twice. Yeah,
Okay.
Sing Happy Birthday 2 times, and
While you're scrubbing your
while you're
hands,
washing
yeah.
your hands,
And make sure it's hot water too, not just like
Right.
or like not like the freezing cold water where you
Mhm.
just like dip the hands under and.
doesn't do anything.
But I
Right.
mean, like that's what we need to do all the time, and I think that this is just kind of resetting the minds on that. You should be disinfecting things. You should be,
right.
you don't want to overuse those things because they can, that's chemicals in there
Sure,
where they
yeah.
can do some.
Well,
do
and
some
that can lead to now you get these viruses that aren't affected by it.
right.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough thing to go through, but these are tough conversations to have, and to come on here today yes, we are talking about sports, but we're talking about a world impact and how the sports world is dealing with that and where it's just not really existing right now, and it's taking guys like Rudy Gobert to Donovan Mitchell, some of the soccer players on the other side of the world where it is bad in Europe. Even Tom Hanks and his wife in Australia.
They're the ones that really set it off.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Tom Hanks got it,
Yeah,
and
everybody
his wife, like
took it.
that's whenever everyone's like, "Oh my God, like this is a for real thing." It's been for real for months,
Yes.
but nobody, especially here in America. This is where I have an issue with a lot of just a lot of people in general.
Right.
I shouldn't narrow it to Americans, but to a lot of people in general. Unless someone dies that you know, you don't give a damn what happens.
Right.
There could be thousands of people, and there are thousands of people that have died from this disease, and who cares?
Yeah.
Forrest Gump gets it, and then everyone loses their freaking minds. I don't like that about people, and I
Right.
wish people would take it more seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. At first, I kind of didn't take it seriously. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, a couple people get sick. It's just the flu. It's just this.
Yeah.
But then you start hearing about it, and like the one stat that got me was, it was earlier this week. Like 195 people died in 24 hours in Italy alone. Just
Right.
up and died in 24 hours. And you start thinking about it, and you're like, okay, well, like 200 people die every day. Thousands of people die every day. But this is such a new thing that, like, I don't want this to be like the Spanish flu,
Yeah.
of 100 years ago. If you don't know what the Spanish flu is, like 50 million people died from this, form of the flu,
Right.
and they couldn't figure it out. They finally did, and everything got quarantined, and everything was fine. But 50 million people died of this. I don't want another 50 million people dying from the coronavirus. And,
No.
and we're setting ourselves up to be in a better spot because
Right.
we are doing the right things. At least I think we are doing the right things for this. I do want to go back to what you were talking about with, like, the NCAA talk.
Yeah.
You were saying that you feel bad for the senior athletes.
It's a tough balance.
100%, and I totally agree with you. And I am happy that they are talking about doing the spring sports.
Yeah.
College baseball, softball,
Right.
all of those spring sports, track and field, and giving them an extra opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whenever it comes to the winter sports, I feel for those people as well, especially in college basketball. I mean,
Right.
you are so close to that championship. And then it just gets taken away from you.
Or even the initial opportunity to go to because you've been at a smaller school for
Right.
4 years. I believe it was a picture of one of the athletes from Winthrop, I think it was, or one of those like mid-major type schools, and he's at a computer working on. His coach takes a picture of him,
Yeah.
working on his college paper at a computer, because after finding out that the tournament was canceled, they had just made their first tournament in a while.
Yeah.
And he's a senior. He led the team. Coach is kind of doing a heartfelt post on Twitter
course,
about
yeah.
it, because this player and his senior leaders have worked so hard to give them an opportunity just to even have the chance to be on that big stage, whether
Right.
it be for one game or you're a Cinderella and you get to go further. It's those types of moments that this is important, that these things are canceled. That's more
Right.
important, is the health and safety.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the underlying issues that you still have that human nature to feel bad for these seniors that have either put themselves in the opportunity to go to a championship
Sure.
or just go into the tournament
Mhm.
and be on that big stage.
And I 100% agree with you. I would love to have, like, the seniors get another opportunity
Right.
for it. But you're looking at teams like Dayton. Dayton would have been a number 1 seed. Obi Toppin is unbelievable.
Right.
He's going to the NBA though, so, like, that's done.
Yeah.
But Dayton was going to have their best chance at winning a title,
Mhm.
going to the Final Four, probably for the first time. I'm assuming. I don't know their record of going to the dance, but pretty sure it probably would have been, Final Four would have been the first time ever
Yeah.
for them.
And a good basketball school anyways.
Right, yeah. I feel like for those seniors, I feel terrible for them, but
Mhm.
I don't know if you can give those guys another year of eligibility,
Right.
because it is so far down the road,
And they've used up so much eligibility this
they've-
year already.
Exactly, they've used up all of that eligibility so far. You've already had your senior night. More likely than not, you've had your senior night. It is unfortunate that you don't get to finish, what you started or what you were hoping to start. But it is one of those things where, like, you got to look at the trickle down effect
Right.
as well, because you're now looking at like juniors that were planning on coming back
Right.
and taking those seniors' spots.
Yeah.
But what if you allow the seniors to come back for another year? Now those juniors are now seniors, and those seniors are redshirt seniors. So now you got more seniors, involved with it, and not only that, but you're looking at the people that are coming into the program, the going to be freshmen, from high school, coming in there to be freshmen. Those
Right.
guys were planning on coming in to be, because certain players were going to be leaving the school. So now that senior's gone, I'm going to take that center spot. Like I'm going to work my way up into getting that center spot. If that senior comes back, then what are you going to do? Then now you got to look at transferring, possibly, if that's the route that you want to go. It would throw a monkey wrench into everything.
Right.
And that's unfortunate, but once again, I think that the winter season, those seniors, it's unfortunate that you don't get the proper send-off like you're hoping for, but that's kind of how life is. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation that we have to go through, but it's the right thing to do.
Well, and here on the Voice of the Land podcast, we do try to give a sense of reality, and we try to be as realistic as we can about things. In today's world, it's very tough to find where that reality is right now because we've never experienced anything like this before. But if we look at the NCAA in particular, I think I'm not saying that these athletes should be given an extra year of eligibility. That's why I think that they should have postponed it at the beginning.
And I agree with you
instead
with
of saying canceled right away, postpone for 3 weeks and reevaluate. And in those 3 weeks, see what's going on in the world and also see if it'd even be possible to get it going later and still have arena space and space to operate this tournament to go through a 68-team bracket to get down to one champion. Those are conversations to have, and that gives you a little bit of time, a little bit of planning time, and to keep an eye on what's going on around the world. Then if you, in those evaluations throughout those 3 weeks, if you see that it's just not possible at all, then canceling is the only thing, then you express that to the schools, the student athletes, and yeah, it's still going to sting, but you showed that you did everything you could, because one thing that the NCAA always gets criticized for is only looking out for themselves. And it did take pro sports, players that are making millions of dollars, for those seasons to be put on hold for a while, at least 30 days for the NBA. Who knows about NHL or how far the MLB? We don't know when anything will get going again.
Mm-hmm.
But it took professional athletes to have their seasons postponed, and professional athletes that were getting the virus, for the NCAA to then feel the pressure as people started to say, hey, NCAA, why haven't you postponed yet?
Right.
Why haven't you postponed yet? And then finally making that decision because they felt the pressure. So
right. But they made the right decision.
Right,
that is the absolute right decision. And as much as it hurts me as a sports fan, because what you're saying, we literally have no sports for the next 2 months, and that kills me.
As Siri just said,
Siri knows what it's all about. It physically hurts me to think that we're not going to have sports for the next 2 months. And it kind of worries me, not as, just like, hey, I work at ESPN Cleveland, what are we going to do? We've already had mandates at work, them saying, like, this next week,
go remote, right?
Everyone's going remote. RBS and CBD, the two shows, they are going remotely.
Because CBD can't even. They are located. Bo
at
Bishop
the Browns
and Mason
facility.
They are located at the Browns facility on the Browns radio network.
Yeah.
And they have completely shut that down. They've sent all of the employees home unless they are essential to.
There were 7 people at ESPN Cleveland yesterday, and it was all content team. That's all it was. I'm trying to think of the people that were there. It was myself. It was Matt Fishman, the program director. Chris Oldak, Aaron Goldhammer, Mike Rizzo, Sam Pines, which is the vice president.
Yeah.
And
was Emmett there yesterday or no?
Emmett, yeah. Did I say Emmett? No,
you didn't.
There's the 7. That's the 7 right there.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that there were only 7 people that were allowed at ESPN Cleveland. It's because they were technically non-essential personnel. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unprecedented is what this is. And, like I said, I mean, the NCAA, you have to give them credit for making this decision and making such a tough decision where something that is a big money draw for them, they were willing to cancel that and not take on that money. I'm just saying that they've always been criticized for not having the student athletes and those that they say that they're for, always having their best interest at heart. And there is some sort of that still underlying because they haven't proven it enough. but this is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I think that because we've never dealt with this before, I understand why they went straight to canceling. Just having hindsight being 2020 and trying to look as realistically as we can, maybe postponing would have been the way to go, and maybe there is something that they can still do. And in terms of eligibility, again, I get that seniors that have already gone through the winter sports season, that is too tough to do. I think at some of the smaller schools, it may still help them because a freshman coming in thinking they're going to be that next big player in that position that the senior has kind of built the program and trying to get to an NCAA tournament in those 4 years. I think having that experienced player coming back and kind of learning from them and how to go through that, how to be a leader, can be impactful.
It could be beneficial, but
at
more
the
likely
bigger,
than not.
But at the bigger schools, you have different people coming into these positions, and it is
Try and think
too
of
much
yourself as like
logistics to go through.
Think about like Ohio State. Okay,
Right.
Andre Wesson he's a senior. He had a great, impactful year. Probably going to go to the pros.
Yeah.
If he had the opportunity to come back, I'm not saying that he would, but
Right.
let's say he did. That upcoming freshman, let's say the number 5 player in Ohio, wants to come to Ohio State to take over Andre Wesson's job. If Andre comes back, then you're going to force that player to make a decision. Do you want to get redshirted? Do you possibly want to go elsewhere to a smaller school? That's something that it's just way too much stuff going on for that, and that's the reason why we're kind of saying what we are saying.
Right. It's just these are those things that you don't ever think would be even possible until this happens, and it's just so unprecedented, and it's so hard to talk about. And I know that we have sports that we still can talk about, but I kind of want to just see how it's just impacting you personally in your life, because kids, they're in Ohio, and I think even in Washington and some other states.
Sure.
There's no school for the next 3
weeks.
For the next 3 weeks for this to be reevaluated. Like, I know some schools were about to go on spring break because they do it a little bit earlier, with school starting earlier nowadays. But now that's being extended, and they're going to have to do school virtually that way. And there's jobs that are doing things virtually and remotely, but not everybody has that opportunity to not go out in the world, and unless they completely shut down like they did in Italy, and to a certain extent in China. There's still going to be exposure type things, but you're also, bringing kids home, and parents have to work. So just like the impact on the society as a whole in general, kind of how you feel impacted by this right now.
Well, as a person that does not have kids or anything like that, I could only imagine like what you're going through, Peter. I mean, you have kids. Your kids, I'm assuming, are not going to be going to school for the next, was that 2 or 3 weeks then?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, they started spring break actually yesterday.
Okay.
So they were gonna be home anyways this next week, and I'm working from home. This next week, and my wife works for the school, so she'll be home for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's probably more of an impact on her because they have assignments. The teachers gave them assignments. Sure. They're going to be doing stuff, so they're not going to be falling behind, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy because we don't have a huge house. We have a small house, and we just told them, hey, you got to clear off the desks in your room. Right now, their desks are littered with Legos. And it's like, well, you guys need to clear off space because you're going to be doing some schoolwork, and my wife's looking online to get order like a badminton set so they can go out. If the weather's nice, they can go out in the backyard.
It's a good call.
Play. And so NEO Sports Network may be live streaming some very interesting badminton
play-by-play. Play-by-play. Here we go.
Welcome to the Tell household.
I
can't guarantee how exciting that will be. It will be interesting.
Oh, I'll make it sound exciting.
Right. I was going to say, we can do this. Play-by-play in color. Here we go. But I mean, for people with children, I'm sure it's beyond excruciating. And for someone like you, Peter, I mean, you said that your wife is with the school district, so she is able to come home. Someone like our buddy Mark Rupert, he and his wife, they have to figure out now. They have 3 young kids, and I mean, you can only pay so much for
Yeah.
babysitters
Right.
and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you are going to be looking for a lot of child care, development, and things like that sort of nature
Yeah.
over the next 3 weeks, and it is beyond tough because you have no idea how are you going to pay for all of that. You
Well,
know,
in addition to that, people that have spouses that work in the medical field, because
Yeah.
there's a good
100%,
chance that they're
yeah.
going to be, they're going to be asked to work extra,
Yeah.
longer hours,
Kelly,
With
yeah,
more
Kelly,
exposure to it.
Kelly
as well.
has to do
Right.
it as well. I mean, she worked an extra like 6 hours the other day. I mean, just out of necessity.
Mm-hmm.
It is very tough
Yeah.
right now, and everyone's going through it. It just depends on what your level of toughness is right now. So we do obviously wish all the best to everybody out there,
Yeah.
and hopefully everyone stays safe and doesn't get this sickness, doesn't pass it on to anybody. Obviously, that's the big thing that we concern ourselves with. Did you want to say?
I mean, I know that, and we're still doing this podcast as
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
As much as we can, and we are going to be working on staying safe ourselves, staying healthy. I mean, we got like the 6 feet between us, trying to have the distancing, and
That's right.
And it's it's kind of fun to laugh a little bit about that, but
Right.
but there are serious measures being put in place. I mean, like we said,
100%.
Peter did a good thing for us, and just out of just thinking about it, just precautionary measures, getting some cleaning supplies and cleaning around here. We have the hand sanitizer and washing our hands and trying to just keep this going, but keep it going within what we think is right now
Mm-hmm.
in society. And for me, it's tough because my mother is asthmatic, and I mean,
Mhm.
I do have asthma as well. It's more exercise induced, so it's when I really start to ramp up and work out and stuff, I really have to make sure I have my inhaler, so I'm trying to keep that with me a little bit more nowadays. But my mother deals with it on a more extreme level.
Sure.
And so I'm very concerned for her, and she is a teacher, so she will be home for the next 3 weeks, except for Mondays and even Tuesday next week. They have to go to the school, so that between 7 and 5 p.m., with parents able to come and pick up work for their kids, they have to be around, and then they'll do like 7 to 3 or 7 to 4 the following 2 Mondays until it's decided whether schools are going to reopen or
Right.
not after being reevaluated. So I know that luckily they are still going to be paying them for things. And then Governor Mike DeWine has done great things to try to set up precautionary measures just here in the state of Ohio, and has been a great example.
Whether you agree with his politics or
Right.
not, he has done a fantastic job handling this entire situation for the state of Ohio.
Because politics has been taken out of it.
A-
And I think
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
we are still seeing there might be, and we're not going to get into a political conversation, but
no.
there
We're not that type of podcast, people.
Right. But the reason why we're having trouble sifting through some of the information that's out there is, it looks like legitimate information, and then later
It's political
on
agenda.
it gets a political agenda spin on it later on,
Yeah.
just to kind of, because they feel like they
They
need
got
to get
they
need
got
to
to
get
spin
that
it
out.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to get it out somehow. So, but Governor Mike DeWine has taken politics out of this and been an example of how to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm still concerned for my mother. I'm concerned for everybody else that, has the kids coming home, and
Yeah.
if they're not able to, or if they're not able to work, some businesses are able to have you work from home. And I know the place that I work, they are sending certain amount of people home so that they can, it's where you're sitting in cubicles. It's that kind of job at a call center.
Mm-hmm.
And they're sending some people home that can work remotely if you have the ability, and you can sign up for that if you have hardwired internet and things. I don't
Right.
have all the resources at home to work from home,
Yeah.
but with a lot of people going home or being sent home to work virtually because they already have those materials,
Mm-hmm.
then they're going to start spreading people out and having more distance between each cubicle as well,
Sure.
trying to do as much as possible there. But I'm also concerned for my grandfather, who is in his 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is in isolation anyways. He's not able to really go anywhere. He sits at home. He watches news. He watches, sports. He's a big baseball guy, but of course there's no baseball there. But
Right.
it's like, I don't even want to go over there for the potential of, have I even been exposed to it? And it's just not
Because
really.
you have no idea.
I have no idea.
Look at Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell showed no symptoms still tested positive. You just don't know. You want to be safe as possible. I'm the same way with my grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma is, I mean, she's probably, I think she's 71, 72. But she is, I mean, she gets sick easy. And let's be honest. I mean, she gets sick easy. And it's one of those things where it's like, you just want to make sure that like, I gave her a call the other day. I was hoping that, everything was all good with her. And she says, yeah, everything's fine. But I told her, the moment you feel sick, you make sure that you go and see a doctor, like immediately. Don't wait around, because she's stubborn.
Yeah.
It's one of my family's traits is that we're stubborn and we're not going to go see a doctor.
Right.
And I'm just thankful that she's listening to that and she understands.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to deal with. I mean, it's like I said, I'm having a difficult time even bringing myself to go over. And my grandfather's 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
And my mother's one of those that is, I mean, I will say she's maybe a little she is germophobic a little bit.
Okay.
But
in this time right now,
but in this time right now, I mean, that is going to be heightened, and everybody needs to have that kind of mindset to, be weary of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it does rub off on me as well to do that, but there's a sense of, it's trying to find that balance between not being overly panicked so that you're able to, because when you do get panicked, at times you can miss little details as well and put yourself in a difficult position. So it's finding that balance, and what is that balance? We just don't know right now.
Right.
And we're a strong country, we're strong people that rise up to occasions, and right now it's important for everybody to pay attention to the details,
mm-hmm.
not panic, but if you are, to completely understand.
Right.
I completely understand.
I don't understand all the people grabbing toilet paper.
What is that doing?
Okay, I want to get into this because I want to finish this on a light, funny note. Okay,
right.
The very serious conversations that we've been having for the last 45 minutes.
Yes.
I want to finish this up on a funny note.
Right.
Last night on ECT, I was the producer with Chris Oldak,
mm-hmm.
and Chris came up with some doomsday scenarios.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you listened to them or not, but he came up.
I was stuck at work and thought you guys were off the air. So
he came up with some great questions. I'm remembering a couple of them.
Okay.
And I want to ask you guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Imagine that we're in the time that we're in right now. You
mm-hmm.
are stuck in your house. Now some of these questions
mm-hmm.
you're with others. Right now, though, it's just you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
You're stuck in your house for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would you rather have or not have? Would you rather have electric and no water, or water and no electric? And think about everything that goes 30 days.
Yeah.
If you choose no water, you got no shower, you got literally no water.
Right.
Right.
But without any electric, you have no way to get out of the outside world. You have no phone, you have no internet, you have no TV, you have nothing. What do you choose?
I'm choosing water over electric because
so you would have water over electric, okay?
Because my girlfriend tells me all the time, like, I shower too much, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I shower every day. I try to keep good hygiene.
Sure. Yeah.
These days, it's good to do that anyways. But I very into that. But I'm also a person that only drinks water. Occasionally, I may have like a Sprite, or juice.
Right.
But I drink only water. So whether it's having the bottles of water in the house or the filtration system, then at the house or just tap water is my life.
Okay. So obviously water then for you.
Yes.
Okay. Peter?
Ooh, I'd probably have to take water too.
Yeah.
Just especially with what's going on, just being able to clean, wash your hands, all that stuff, flush the toilet.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would miss electric because I'm thinking I have bottled water at home. Like,
right.
We probably shouldn't because of the whole plastic bottle thing.
Yeah.
But
I think that's our least concern right now.
Well,
yeah.
But we typically always have bottled water because we keep it in the car because
sure.
With the kids we go places, so we always have it. But yeah, I definitely think water over electric. My kids, I know this is just me, but if my kids are involved, they would totally prefer electric,
yeah.
especially if that includes
Yeah.
the internet. So.
Right. Well, here, I'm glad that I got a couple more questions.
Okay.
Bottled water. I saw a picture of Dasani water. Like every other bottled water was taken, except for like there are 100 pallets of Dasani water that nobody's touched. Apparently, people don't like Dasani water. I don't know. Like I will, we'll take sponsorships.
Yeah,
Dasani, we'll drink you all up.
I don't
But
pick one brand over the other either. Like when I go buy bottled water, it's whatever on sale.
Well,
Like,
and
can
I
I get
was
like
ju-
a
I was just
2 for
gonna-
$3 type deal or
I
something
was
like
just
that?
going to ask you if you could,
Yeah.
what would be your bottled water of choice? Do you just don't have one?
I just
For
don't have
30
one.
straight days, you have no water, you have no electric.
Yeah.
You got to buy a bottle of water, and you got pallets and pallets full of them. What are they? What bottle of water are you going with?
It doesn't really matter. It's what's ever available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
first thing you see,
Yeah, first thing I see, and if it's
like
if there is a deal on
Acme
there,
water.
yeah.
First
I
thing.
I would get the Acme water. I always have either Heinen's water, I've drank Nestle,
Sure.
the Deer Park, Dasani,
Yeah.
Aquafina, whatever's available. If it's on sale as well, or if it's just
Right.
available, get that pack.
I prefer like purified water
Yeah.
as opposed to, or not distilled, but purified as opposed to like spring water.
Okay.
Okay.
Just because some of the spring water, it's got more minerals in it, which can sometimes taste a little funky.
Sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, typically same with Covenant, whatever's on sale.
Yeah.
If I have an option, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go like Propel. The
Okay.
Propel Gatorade.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. And like I can drink regular water.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's my main go-to.
Right.
But yeah, if I get a choice, I'm gonna go Propel.
Okay.
Propel, the berry one. I like the berry
You
one.
got a little flavor in there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I just don't do the flavored water. I really don't.
I love the Mios. Like, if I do a sponsorship with anything, it better be with Mio. I'm telling you right now, I would do Mio sponsorships all day long.
Make sure you tag them in this.
Oh, I will. I got you, Mio.
Cut that clip and tag them
Right.
all week long.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna see. I know that we got off track this week in terms
Right.
of like videos and
We're gonna get back to it.
It's been a weird week,
It's been a super weird week.
but instead of Paulus's video that he does, his preview video this
Yeah.
week, all we're gonna see each day is he's just gonna have the one clip where he just talked about
With a
Mio,
Mio,
and
right.
he's just gonna tag them every single day.
Just do this like the entire time. Like, okay, so we got some of those. I got 2 more questions
Okay,
for you.
all right.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up with these
With these last
here.
2 questions. If you could choose 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
you can only shower or you can only brush your teeth.
Wow.
It's a tougher one.
Yeah.
That one's a little tougher because and it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, it's just me. I'm not going around anybody either.
You're not going around anybody, but if you brush your teeth, you can't shower, and if you shower, you can't brush your teeth. Think about all the food that goes in your mouth.
Yeah.
For 30 days, you don't brush your teeth. Think about that.
Do I have mouthwash though?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was
there's
trying
no
to find-
there's no outs
I was
here.
trying to find a loophole.
No loopholes.
Probably brush my teeth because I have
Okay.
deodorant. If there's water available, I can always rinse off. Or
Think about the smell that you're going to be
I mean, that's
just
tough,
giving
though.
off your body.
There's one smell or the other. There's
It's true.
one set of toxins or the other.
It's not the
on the-
smell; it's the taste.
Yeah.
I would have to go with brushing teeth
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I mean, I drink coffee like crazy, so yeah, I'd have to brushing teeth.
I said the same exact thing. You got to brush your teeth. Like I can live with my scent. I can live with that. It smells
Can't
bad.
Do that.
It smells bad from time to time.
I've found other ways to kind of like, if I can't shower for a few days or something like that, like I've found other ways to at least be.
That's why they
hygienic.
invented Axe body spray.
Oh my gosh.
We know who Peter's going to be sponsoring. So, okay, last one.
Yeah.
And I thought that this was awesome. Well done to you, Chris. 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to live with people. Okay.
Yeah.
Your in-laws without your significant other or all of your exes. 30 straight days.
I'm going in-laws.
Yeah, I'd say in-laws.
Yeah,
My in-laws are they're fantastic.
Now, our significant other isn't there with us.
Not there for 30 days.
I'm still going in-laws because
Okay.
I've, had a lot of fun with,
Sure.
with the other family. My family's kind of quiet.
Mhm.
Her family's,
A little bit louder.
louder, but like in a good way where they,
Sure,
they get
yeah.
together, they're having games. Like, mother calls my girlfriend last night while we're driving around getting some food, just picking up some food last night, and they're playing life, the game of life.
Okay.
They're like and some of the younger cousins back home. They're all playing the game of life. Like, I love board games. Like,
Sure.
I love those kinds
Okay.
of family game night type things.
I said in-laws as well because I'm afraid one of my exes would like stab me. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play it on the safe side. Bonus question, and then we're wrapping this up right now. Isolation for 30 days, or you got to live with 10 random strangers.
Isolation.
Isolation. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about 10 like family members or friends?
I mean, if it's people that I know,
Sure.
and we have our 6 feet between
Yeah,
us right now.
where's that line? Are we because it's in your house, so I don't know the configurations of your house or anything like that. I live in medium-sized house, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Like a medium.
I guess right now it's a bigger house, but
So how many people? Where's that line? Because Chris said 20. I was like, dude, I can only live with like 3 people. Like I am good with 3 people, and like
right.
so like 10 would push it for me. He said 20. Where 20 family members living with you? Like, think about that arrangement. It would be ridiculously crazy.
Yeah, it would be.
Nope.
I mean, yeah.
Nope.
I mean,
I got
5
3.
at the most.
I got 3 with me now.
I was gonna
That's
say,
plenty.
Where's
Yeah.
that line? Is 3 the line then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
same. Okay.
we have a small house. I mean,
Okay.
Right.
we're up by the lake. We're in a ranch, no basement.
Okay.
So it's 4 people in that house is about as much
That's
as you're gonna
max.
get without. We drive each other crazy as it is.
Yeah.
So 10. There's no way I'll live by myself.
I mean, it's
What's level for you?
like 5.
5.
But they gotta know my tendencies because I have taken on a little bit of my mother in me. Like I can admit that I'm working on it.
So
when it's not the right time to be crazy, looking at disinfecting every single little surface every single minute, but they'd have to know my tendencies of, especially in a time like this where we need to be clean, disinfectant, spray, everything like that.
So I'm like 99% sure my mom tuned in to the show last night for the first time ever.
Yeah.
To ECT, which was a cool, nice thing. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for listening last night. But she goes, okay, so who are the other 2 people? I go, well, no, I said 3. She goes, I know, me and who else? I go, I'm sorry, Mom, you're not in that room. She was like,
Whoa.
what? She's like, whoa. And I was like, I'd rather have my animals with me. Yeah, I love my mom.
Yeah.
But 30 straight days, like, can't leave the place, can't do anything. Like, I love my family, but I'd rather have like my animals. I'd rather have my Roo dog, my Oscar the cat, and Bruce the cat.
Yeah.
So I'll take them.
Yeah. What's the one show you got to watch if you're stuck in isolation?
The one show
that you can just keep watching to pass the time because there's nothing else to watch right now.
For 30 days,
give
me the entire library of Law and Order.
Okay.
Like, because you could it probably would take you 30 days to watch because every episode's at least an hour long.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 30 seasons of it, so I'd do that.
Okay.
I would do Law and Order.
That's a good one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean that I don't know if I can argue with that
I was
logic
gonna say
because
every story has a new episode. Every episode's a new story. Like, I'm cool with that.
I can watch The Office on repeat constantly.
Yeah.
Or Impractical Jokers. I can pass the time watching whether it's clips or full episodes of those just all day for 30 days.
I mean, you could always go just the total other way and go with like Jerry Springer. That show's been on for
That's
ever.
true. Judge Judy, which
any of those daytime shows that have been on forever.
She's actually closing up, and we're gonna wrap up here. But Judge Judy is closing down the courtroom.
Yeah.
So for I think this is going to be her last season. She's been doing it for like 25 years.
Yeah.
Do you know how much money she makes per season? She makes like $50 million per season. It's because of all the daytime ratings that
Yeah.
she gets. Fantastic for her.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's right up there with like the top paid people of all time.
Yes, I'm glad my mother has found HGTV instead of coming home and finding her watching Judge Judy all the time.
There we go.
But on that note, that is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Voice of the Land podcast. We do want to send our thoughts and prayers out to everybody out there. Stay healthy, stay as safe as you can. Keep up with the information. You know, I know it's tough to figure out what's true and what's not right now, but just be leery of your situation right now. And, of course, take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you in the way that you can. But for Nick Paulus, for Peter Tulloch, we want to thank everybody listening on CuyahogaValleyRadio.com here on Saturdays. You can always hear us at 4 p.m. every single Saturday. And, of course, on Sundays, we post the podcast to Google, Spotify, Apple, and on YouTube. Clips start popping up on there at Voice of the Land Podcast. Follow us, Voice of the Land on Facebook, at VTIA_POD on Twitter and Instagram. So, like I said, for my man Nick Paulus, who is 6 feet away from me, and my man Peter Tulloch, who is also 6 feet away from me, we want to thank you guys so much. Remember, we still, as sports fans, tell you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And in these trying times, we truly love you all, 3,000. We will see you all next week.
And wash your hands.
And wash your hands.